All right, team, how are we doing? I just wanted to talk about a little topic that I thought is really interesting. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it. And that's the topic of learning skills. Okay, skills in CrossFit and training in general, I believe, are absolutely crucial. Not necessarily to achieve the skill in and of themselves, but to reap the rewards of what learning that skill can give you. So we'll go through a couple of examples and we'll go from there. So first off, in order to understand why we need skill work, we need to understand the benefits and what we're looking for in general whenever we train. And when it comes to skill work, there's certain elements that are predominantly the stuff that we get when we do that. So those will usually be the likes of balance, coordination, accuracy, and agility. Okay, those are generally the things that we that are benefited whenever we train skills. And because skills are something that need to be practiced, it's much more a neurological adaptation that will occur as opposed to the likes of just building raw strength. Like if you are doing your back squats, you do your back squat and that's what builds the strength. Whereas if you're trying to practice a handstand hold, there's so much going on there. It's not just about developing the muscles that hold the handstand position. It's now developing an awareness and a coordination around those muscles and what they feel like and what they should feel like in certain positions. So there's a lot more to just this raw capability of a muscle. It's now a adaptation in particular that we're looking for, and that's developed through practice. So when we think about these things, we can then think about some examples. I just gave the example there in particular about a handstand hold, so I'll kind of jump on that again. When you kick up into a handstand hold, in particular if you kick into one up against a wall, there's a little drill we can do where you start to shift your weight away from the wall. And if you haven't practiced this that much, what I just said there probably doesn't make a lot of sense, and that's fine. That's completely expected for most people. What I do mean by that is, imagine being upside down against a wall, right? And you just lift one foot away from the wall and then follow it by the other. Okay, and what will probably happen is, say your head's here, your feet are here, and you lift your feet off the wall. What will likely happen is you'll just come straight off the wall. So what we need to do to gain balance and accuracy and coordination is to practice kicking our feet, or not kicking, just lifting our feet off the wall, shifting weight away from the wall and finding what's called the biting point or a balance point, where our wrists, shoulders, hips, knees and ankles are all stacked in a lovely straight line. And that balance point is very, very difficult to find. But when you do find it, you can feel it and you can start to adapt your body to that feeling and then become more capable and be able to hold that for longer periods of time. And that's how people develop their handstand holds, is usually a drill like that, or doing that same thing but kicking up into a handstand in open space, which is much more challenging because there's a lot less margin for error there. So that's one example when it comes to practicing a skill. Now the thing about that skill, right, is not necessarily that the handstand is the goal, right? The handstand is what we're moving towards, right? So yes, it could be seen as the goal, but something that can be really helpful when developing skills and progressing your fitness forward is moving away from the actual movement itself and thinking, what I'm doing now, the practice that I'm putting into this, regardless of whether I get the handstand or not, The practice itself is giving me the benefit just in that one session. So you might practice a handstand your entire life and maybe go from a 0-second hold, so kick up and just fall straight back down, to a 5-second hold in your entire life, right? Which is a long time, your entire life, right? But all of those sessions, say 1 or 2 sessions a week practicing that, all of those sessions will have developed an insane amount of coordination and accuracy and balance that you never had before. And you have absolutely no idea the carryover that those things will have to everything else in your life that isn't necessarily just a handstand hold. It might be something as simple as if you pick your child up and hold them up above your head and you have this awareness of where they are in space, and you know not to shift or not to put them behind your head because their weight will all go this way and the same the other direction. That's a weird and random example, but you know what I'm trying to get at. It's you're able to understand that you have an awareness around those positions, and you have an awareness that wouldn't exist if you didn't practice those things. So that's just one of many examples of why practicing skills is so important. And it can go to anything. So practicing a muscle up, building yourself up and following the pathway to get a muscle up. It might take years and you might never get it. But that process, that journey of brick on brick on brick on brick, building that movement up as far as you can get it, and it may be the most challenging version of the movement you get to is a low ring muscle up with a band. That's still an incredibly challenging thing to do. And the fact that you have put all these pieces together to get here will give you tremendous awareness and body awareness for everything else you do. So please, when you're practicing skills, don't see that practice as, I'm going to get my muscle up one day. For the competitive CrossFitter or the naturally competitive mindseted person like myself, that is typically where we'll go, is I want to get a handstand walk, I want to get this, I want to get that. But that one session, you're putting another brick on, you're adding another piece, and that piece is going to be helpful to everything else you do. So that's all I got on that. When it comes to skills, guys, I hope you find it helpful. I hope it kind of helps you think about skills in a different way, and it helps you approach your training sessions and your skill sessions with a bit more intention and with a bit more motivation, knowing that it isn't necessarily the achievement of the skill, it's the pursuit of it.